has had a very strong performance the last couple of races here at Talladega. Finishes of 3rd and 6th in his last 2 races here. Oh, trouble. Jeff Purvis spins. John Andretti's into it. Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Harvick, Schrader.
Buckshot Jones, the 44 car, and Jeff Gordon drives by on the outside.
Flew up the racetrack. We're wrecked up pretty good.
Let's take a look.
Well, the 22 is actually up on the apron and hit the 51 car.
And from there, it was on.
Yeah, well, once you're in a situation like this, you're just trying to look for a hole.
And Kurt was just trying to get stopped behind it.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And Purvis comes right down to that yellow line. So they both wanted the same place on the racetrack.
Yep. And John Andretti, hard lick to the left side of the 51 car. There's Terry Labonte, who had just run the fastest lap.
Oh, Buckshot almost made it.
And Presley did sneak through, BP.
Somehow, some way, Schrader not as lucky. I don't think that Buckshot was so strong.
I don't know if they're going to have enough of a run.
It just doesn't look like Truex is fast enough to keep those guys. Oh, trouble! There's that caution I was talking about.
Several cars involved. This is coming out of 2 down the backstretch, and they're still wrecking. Well,
It's Randy LaJoy with a hood stuck up in the air.
big one coming late.
So to get this cleanup taken care of.
That means no work can be done on the cars once the red flag is put out. Cars will be stopped on the track. On board.
Turn Justin Labonte right up into the wall. Into the safer barrier, at least. Wow, lots of debris.
Reed Sorensen, the 41 car, second in the NASCAR Busch Series points.
Yep.
Some of the racetrack, Bobby Labonte, look at Rusty Wallace. He's not giving up yet. He pulls right up behind him. In fact, that last lap, Rusty Wallace was by far the quickest car.
Trouble down here, car round. Dale Jarrett in the wall, and whoa, Benson just missed him. No, he didn't.
Looks like Jeremy Mayfield
They
got
wadded up about 8 of them over there, 8 or 9 of them. Missed Jarrett, but caught the wall. Nemechek's in it. What happens here, Darrell?
I just think the 88 gets around. Yeah, he does. He just gets around, backs it up in the fence hard, a lot of smoke. And all of a sudden he starts down the racetrack and he has no control. Benson spins and backs up in the fence. And a bunch of other cars in are all trying to check up and they get involved as well.
Jeremy Mayfield, the 19 car. That's what hit the back of Jarrett's car so hard was Mayfield. There's Benson sliding through. Oh, yeah, that's a big hit too.
It is. Here's the 31 down here going around. A lot of cars involved.
A lot of left side damage.
He'll run right back up on Gordon, but right at the moment.
Oh, trouble. Bodine in the wall. Lake Speed. Nemechek. Spencer in the wall. There's fire from the Steve Grissom machine. Hut Strickland is in the 96. Gary Bradbury driving through the carnage.
That's Jeff Bodine going high there. Andy Hillenberg in the 91 under him. Lake Speed just behind him. They make contact right there.
Hillenberg and Bodine got together, and that's what keyed it all.
It just started to get sideways. He almost had it saved until he and Hillenberg made contact.
You can see Bill Elliott right back in this area, just creeping through there.
And Bodine. Strickland into Speed.
Yep. Spencer's just behind there in that cloud of smoke. No, he has no idea where to go. Grissom there in flames there in the 41. Now into the outside.
Earnhardt pulls them around the 2.5. Oh, trouble! Off turn 4. Darrell Waltrip is involved in it. The 59 goes sliding. Mark Gibson. Dave Marcus, rookie Steve Hart, Ricky Rudd, and Ricky Craven. Don't know if there was any contact right there. May have been.
Might have been just a touch there. Don't take much at 200 miles an hour. When you touch, boy, that's what can happen. You can see visibility back here is impossible for people driving into that wreck.
Dave Marcus almost got through it there. Here it is again. You see the 59 car, this blue and white one, as he got loose for some reason, gets into one car that gets on by just a little bit. And here's what Ricky Craven saw.
And more.
It's a chain reaction that started way up front. So there's Denny Hamlin.
With pack racing, the history at Daytona has been the closer you get to the finish, the harder people press, the less give and take there is.
The middle with Kyle. And then all of them start getting together right at the front of the field. You can see that started, looked like with Trevor Bayne getting separated, got a little bit loose behind the 6. And you see somebody drives right underneath of Allgaier. Yeah, that's the 52, Reed Sorensen, that was underneath him. He was completely underneath. See Johanna Long getting a piece of that. Not a lot of contact, but she has some damage to the left front. I believe it starts right here. Watch Trevor Bayne. May have to jump out of the throttle and get sideways here. A lot of times, June, you have to jump out to keep them running over that car in front of you. Your car will just jump for about a half a lane. I'm telling you, Reed Sorensen was completely underneath Justin Allgaier's car.
With Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, BP, the longer this race goes, the better that car gets for Jason Leffler. They've been a little bit tight. And look at this. Hang on, Kenny Wallace.
Oh, right in front of everybody. Earnhardt Jr. Earnhardt gets into Tony Raines trying to avoid
and
Kenny Wallace.
Across the track, it's David Green.
Man.
7th caution period of the night.
Leffler just got sideways corrected. We've seen it a bunch of times here. It just gets into Kenny Wallace. Earnhardt goes low, Raines goes low to miss him, and they just get tangled up together.
And that was Tony Raines that the 27 car David Green plowed into.
Kenny Wallace trying to hang on to it. Couldn't do it. Junior gets clipped.
Boy, and David Green had open racetrack, and all of a sudden that 33 car came sliding across the grass.
You got the hill. You got the laps, and let me know when there are 2 laps to go. That's obviously not the case right now. Still 4 remaining, but Bodine trying to make his move to the outside, and we have trouble on the back straightaway.
Problems for the 14 and the 5. Now they all bottle up behind them. The 16's into the wall. Hornaday, your championship leader, is into the wall. A lot of damage on the back stretch. Oh, and Max Pappas gets into the 5 of Mike's.
This is real time.
That's just, I mean, it's really difficult to assess exactly who to blame that on. I mean, Skinner was trying to pull over a little bit. Johnny was in there a little bit. They got together and it caused a big crash. To the right. Yeah. Right
he gets
there.
Sideways now, and Skinner follows him. Johnny's going to try to take that hole up in the middle. Skinner's just trying to get back in line behind the 30, and that's where the initial contact came.
And around they go. Numerous trucks involved in this one. You can see 8 of them right there. And Max Pappas in the 5. You see him. I'm not so sure what happens here. Max Pappas.
And we got a crash. Big man. Several cars involved coming out of turn number 4. And it involved the group of cars that we were watching race. Ken Schrader, Sterling Marlin, Jimmy Spencer, John Andretti.
There we see Spencer. Is that Ward Burton on the inside? As Ward Burton comes up, and we see Spencer just touch the 41 car. Around he goes. Spencer nails the left front. These other cars just nowhere to go. Wow. Musgrave had nowhere to go. Ran in the side of the 33 car.
About 5 of those drivers were on the lead lap.
Once again, never see Ward Burton. Now Spencer comes off the corner, just touches the 41 car, just enough to spin him. The 26 car, Vincent just barely misses that wreck.
Yeah, he's got to look up in his rearview mirror and say, man, yep, got through that okay.
See somebody's hand out the window. Looked like Mike Wallace waving at James Busher behind him.
Oh, we got trouble. No, look out, Carl Edwards.
those turns, and we've got multi-cars into the wall. Leffler's involved in this. The 62 have gone. The 21 of Boyer.
I'm just ready to say something. I'm just ready to say something, you.
Patrick Sheltra involved. The 16 of Colin Brown, the one thing he did not need because he's out of this seat. And we've got a car on fire down in the corner of turn 1, and it is Mike Wallace.
This is where you don't bump draft right here. And you can see Carl Edwards got hit in the rear right there.
Oh, my goodness. He got hit by a lot of cars here. See, it turns into a huge crash.
That goes back to a little bit of the inexperience that we're talking about. There are just places on this with these bumpers not line up. You see, he just lifted the rear wheels off the ground.
Well, Stenhouse was excused from last week's team meeting. I'm not sure he's going to be excused from this week's.
This is a frustrating and disappointing season so far for Jason Leffler.
Jamie, well, contact, and Ward Burton is tapped. His car gets sideways. There's Rudeman's car sliding broadside into turn 1. Other cars up against the wall, against the concrete.
Keep it up straight. You're okay, okay. Just lock her down, lock her down. All right. We didn't hit nothing, guys. Keep rolling. When you get a chance, keep rolling. Pace car's just off at 2 there.
That first white line, there's a seam right there, and actually your car will get in that, and it'll actually move one way or the other. And it looks like maybe Ward's right front got in there and went up the racetrack just a little bit. I'm just guessing that happened because I've had it happen in my car before.
Here's Martin Truex onboard camera. He goes up and
he hit the wall, guys.
Oh, he hit the wall pretty hard, DJ.
Yeah, we didn't see that as we were talking about the 29. Yeah, this looks like it's going to put an end to that streak.
Whoa, whoa, baby.
Big pileup back straight away.
Oh, my gosh.
Looks like 10 cars in it.
There's Tony Stewart, Montoya, the 42.
Murray.
Whoa, they make contact right there, and that's a no-no. Jeff Hammond just standing over there in that very spot saying, you know, you got to really watch turn 2. It's treacherous. By golly, he was right.
Reagan gets by. Regan Smith spinning. Montoya down into the wall with Gilliland.
And right, even when the spotter is hollering at you, way back there where you see that 78 car get sideways, you just can't slow down. Actually, it was Scott Speed's car.
And Stephen Light to the list. It's a big funnel, and everything just all tries to...